me and want to play. And I'm sorry, the audio quality is the exact opposite of what we had upstairs. I tried to get into a closet to get the stuff. Now I've got a washing machine and a dryer running. But what are some protocols? So again, you want to say your name or your tag. You want to say what nation you're playing. You're going to want to say the name of the game, like Access Analyzed Technology Game Rule, House Rule Game 4. You want to say whose turn it is. I'm playing the Allied Big Turn. And then you want to say your purchases or tech rolls. And then you want to do those tech rolls. And as much as possible, you want to do this in one take. Could you piece this together? Yes, you could. Is it easier to cheat if you pieced it together? Yes, it is. So I would say you attempt best practice to put it all together in one take. Okay? So there are times, many times, when people have run out of room on their phone, which is why I'm live streaming right now. Because if you're live streaming, that's not an issue, right? We're calling that the Magnificent Seven strategy, by the way. It's a pretty awesome name. Schultze came up with it. So you're going to do that in one take, or you can do live stream like I do. I think you have to have a certain number of subscriptions to do that. I'm not sure how many, maybe 100 subscribers. I don't think just out of the box you can do that, but maybe you can. Who knows? Maybe it changed. The other thing I would say, so you're going through the phases of the turn. You do the purchases, and again, I would say you do the combat moves. You can use things like this to indicate combat moves. You could do like this or some other indication, like I've done white dice in the past to indicate non-com moves and red to indicate combat moves. You can also use the dice to say this plane has got 3 spaces left, so it attacks into, anyways, that doesn't apply, but this plane's got 3 spaces left because it attacks Guangxi. That would have 2 spaces left, okay? If these planes attacked to Kiangsi, okay? Right there. So you could do that. That's helpful, really helpful. I would say you do the money like Schultze does the money, the base money on the board right here, but then he does the bonuses, but he doesn't give a total. I would like it if he gave a total at the end because I'm a big convoyer. I convoy here. I'm convoying here. Well, I was until these turned over to become British. So anyways, I'm a big convoyer, so you want to give the total, then you want to get the subtraction from convoys, and then sometimes you want to say who's up next. I do think that you shouldn't change your purchases after you roll the first dice. Up till then, I would say it's fairly flexible, and you can do your purchases and combats. I've even done my combats first and then done purchases because it's easier to see what you're going to need afterward. You can guesstimate. And then I would also say that you do your dice, and you can even do dice. For instance, I bought grasshopper dice, or I think he might have given them to me. Maybe I bought them. So let's say that's a grasshopper dice. Those represent the 2 infantry that are defending. These dice indicate the 2 that are attacking. Just announce that ahead of time, and then you can do everything in one roll. Boom. Defenders get 1 hit, attackers get no hits. These are green dice, they're 2s. The blues are 3s. 2 planes attacking a tank. The plane hits, the tank misses. Okay, you get it. This is 1 bomber attack, 2 bombers attacking a battleship. Boom. Bomber hits, battleship misses. Okay, so you see that you could speed up your rolls by doing that. I like some sort of dice, this one, or I like a big one or a 20-sided dice to indicate the turn it is. And a lot of people will put that in like Spain. it's turn 5. Okay, that's a helpful reminder because you're always sort of struggling. Whose turn is it? What number is it? So that's an easy way to fix that, is to indicate that. I like to leave my technology dice out on the board. If you have misses, if you play anniversary style. And then if there's anything afterward that you do, you want everything on the board, right? You want to see everything going on. That's a big problem. So be aware that when you're filming, sometimes you'll think you're filming an area like this. I've done this before. I'm filming and I think the dice are right here, and I roll the dice and it's like that, like it's too far away. So you want to be able to see the dice as much as possible. It's not always possible, but whatever you do, you want to describe what happens verbally. So, for instance, even when you're moving on the board, I would say diver from Anglo-Egyptian Sudan flies, and then you could even do the path if you wanted to. 1, 2, 3, 4, but you could also do 81 to 76 to 80, lands in Persia, okay? So you want to speak out what you're doing, and then especially the big thing is to do a recap, because you want to make sure the recap. And if you have any questions about their recap, you could even do their recap again before you even start your turn, so that you can know that your boards are the same, because I guarantee you, no matter how hard you try, the boards are going to be different. There's going to be some mistake. It's just, and you need that protocol to say, especially if you got an important area. Like, for instance, if you are attacking 97 with your fighters, you want to confirm what's there ahead of time. Is there a scrambling fighter in southern Italy? Is there not? So you need to know that ahead of time. And then, of course, you've got intercepts. If you're bombing a base or attacking an area where planes can scramble, you need to go scramble orders ahead of time by letting them know what's coming by text, into the C zone or into the space. And then you want to ask him if he wants to scramble. You don't want to assume it. There are cases where you could assume it. If you had a press for time, you couldn't get a hold of him, you could always go, you know what, I'm sorry, I couldn't get a hold of you. I want to do this. I got to do this right now, or I won't be able to do it for 5 more days. So you could potentially do that kind of thing, and assume he's not going to scramble if you've got overwhelming odds. But if you've got even odds, I definitely wouldn't assume as much as possible that he's not going to scramble. But that's some protocols that I think are pretty helpful. I would also try to show the dice. Obviously, if you had some sort of, I don't know, I've never seen them, but maybe sneaky dice where they were only 1s and 2s. But if you show dice like this ahead of time, obviously you're going to indicate that, no, you've got good dice and you just got unlucky. All right, that's Croc 36. And there's the party where I'm at right now. So I'm going to sign off. But that's some protocols for onboard gameplay. Okay, Croc it out.